Coach, you're up to a fast start. What's the difference this year?
I think just collectively as a team, I feel like we're stronger across the board with our offense and defense and then pitching staff. So I think that makes a big difference.
Talk to me about your pitching a little bit. You're getting solid performances almost every time out.
Yeah, we have our senior, Kirsten Kraus, and I think that this is her best year that she's had as far as things that we've worked on. I think that she's the best that she has been. We got our JUCO transfer, Hannah Washburn from Indian Hills Community College, and she's really doing well. She does a pretty good job of hitting her spots and has good speed and mixes well. And then Kendra Hens is a freshman, and she's doing well. She's making that adjustment, and she has amazing potential and has had some great outings. And so we're going to continue to try to build on that because she is a little bit young as far as that goes. And most of the time freshmen are up and down just a little bit. And so hopefully mid-season we'll try to level off and be more consistent. Kelsey Dorsey is still injured right now, so we're kind of taking it day-to-day with her, and she hasn't been on the mound yet, but of course she was our strength as far as our lineup for pitchers last year. And so we'd love to have her back anytime, but we're just kind of overcoming an injury right now.
But all this gives you more options, and you can be Captain Hook if you want to, and pull
Yeah.
somebody out, pull somebody in, which you haven't really been able to do before.
Right. It definitely helps, and I think that it helps take pressure off of each other a little bit too as far as the pitchers go, and it certainly helps our defense as well with being able to make the plays and the ball not coming out quite as much maybe. And so all that kind of working together helps or betters our chance to have success.
Okay, and before we go into hitting, let's talk about somebody local. Let's talk about Danielle Llewellyn.
Yeah.
She's off to she got speedy on her license.
Yeah,
plate, and,
yeah.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah, she's done a great job. She's really, really owned batting from the left side and fine-tuning her skill there with her bat control. And we always knew that it was there, and so she's really, really starting to kind of get into that skill set. And she's done a really good job. And, of course, once she gets on the bases, she's a major threat and has had a lot of success so far. And we hope to continue for her to get on base and make things happen.
That's tough to do, though, midway through your career to go to the other side.
Absolutely. It's very difficult. And so it took her just a little bit to kind of adjust to that. But we think that overall she has a lot of potential more at the left side than maybe the right side. And so she's really embraced that this year and has worked really hard on that. And she's seeing a lot of success from that. So she's got some major intangibles. And whenever she can get the ball on the ground, then it's tough to get her out at first base.
And you've scored a lot more runs this year, a lot different when you're playing with a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's just a little bit more, kind of relaxed but focused, a relaxed focus on the defensive part, to play and not really playing to lose, but just playing like every out, and really working to get 3 outs. And, it kind of works for everyone. You see it in the major league and across the board, but once a few people can string some hits together, then it's kind of contagious. And so I think that certainly helps as well.
Your defense is better this year. Why?
We really focused on the fundamentals and putting a lot of I feel like we've been putting more pressure on ourselves at practice to be perfect in everything that we're doing. I think that defense could be really, really overwhelming when you talk about having a certain amount of errors per certain number of outs per errors, and what we really try to do is just to take every inning 3 outs and really focus on that as much as possible, and that I think helps it not seem so overwhelming, but also know that each time you make an error, it could be like you cost your team the game. So putting that type of pressure on them, and then they perform at a higher level.
Okay, we've had all this weather, inside, outside, rain, snow, sleet, whatever we've had, everything, monsoon, whatever we've had. How are you coping with that? And you just have to go with the flow, don't you?
Yeah, it's definitely out of our control. It is frustrating because there was a point where we felt like we'd played some games and then we were like back inside in the gym and it's almost preseason again. And so we got to go down and play Southwest Baptist last Saturday, and I really wanted to get some games in because we hadn't been on dirt for 3 weeks, and I wanted to make sure our focus was there before we started conference this week with Lindenwood. So it's been trying, and I think, can be a little depressing depending on how your mindset is. But what we've tried to do is just try to be optimistic and positive as much as possible and continue to be focused and ready to go outside and compete.
And a fast start in the conference would be huge, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We just talked yesterday about the discount. Everything from this point forward really just counts, and we don't get anything back. So we have to leave everything out on the field. We don't get a game back to try to make up that loss if that's the case. So we really try to put our best foot forward and, we kind of respect every opponent like they're the national champion. So we're going into each game like that. We're out for blood. We're playing for it every single inning. So we hope that type of intensity and focus will help us, give us a good opportunity to have success in, our conference with the standings and the teams and the quality and the competition is just so high. So it'll be interesting once we start to get into the middle of it because a lot of the teams have winning records and are really successful so far. So it's going to be a dogfight for sure.
And as far as the conference games go, you can't make them up next year.
Right.